Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. If you are somebody who is looking to make some extra gold, whether that's to afford your potions for raid night, buy that mount or transmog that you've always wanted to add to your collection, or so you can stop paying with real life money for some game time, and you don't have a ton of time to dedicate to gold making, this video will be for you. So in today's video, we're going to be going over a handful of methods that are very low effort and they can make you a lot of gold. Now, before we get started, I do want to put out a little bit of a disclaimer. There is not going to be a single farm or super easy method that is going to make you millions of gold unless you work and put some effort into it. If anybody could farm something for 5 minutes and make 1 million gold, then everybody would be rich and not looking up, gold tutorials. So please keep in mind that the amount of effort that you put into these methods is going to equal the amount of gold you get out of them. But all of these are going to be simple to follow and not require a ton of extra work. So everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy. So to get started, we're going to talk about leveling. So if you are somebody who is leveling either your first character or your second or maybe 50th, then these are methods that you can do as you're leveling a character. And so the first method is picking up herbalism and mining as soon as possible. So if you make a brand new character, right when you get out of Exile's Reach at level 10, you will be in your major city. Before you pick a Chromie Time era to go either quest or dungeon, take a pit stop to the herbalism trainer as well as the mining trainer and pick up both professions. The reason is, if you are a big quester, you're going to be traveling throughout the world. And as you are doing these quests, you're going to bypass herbs and nodes that you can quickly loot, maybe will take you 2 seconds of your time, and you're going to get some raw materials. Then simply all you have to do is place those raw materials on the auction house, let them sell, and you just made yourself some extra gold when leveling. Now the amount of gold you get from each herb or ore is going to depend on where you're questing. For example, if you're questing in Northern Barrens, you're going to be picking up copper. Now copper is simply just not as valuable as, let's say, cobalt ore, which you can farm and pick up in the Northrend regions. So, depending on where you like to quest, you're going to get a little bit more or less gold, but at the end of the day, that is more gold than you're getting from doing nothing. Now, let's say you're not a quester, and you actually prefer to just simply speedrun dungeons and level up like that. Instead of going the farming route by picking up herbalism and mining, you should pick up enchanting. The reason is that enchanting has the ability to disenchant, which you basically dismantle a piece of gear into sellable materials. So as you quest in dungeons, you're going to get random drops, whether that's BOP or BOE items, and most of the time, if they're not an upgrade, you're going to quickly go ahead and vendor them. So instead of doing that, you quickly just disenchant them, yet again, maybe taking 2 seconds of your time, and now you have some extra raw materials. Throw those up on the auction house, and you have just made some extra gold. Generally, those materials will sell for more gold than the armor itself when selling it to a vendor. Also, keep in mind that enchanting only covers 1 profession slot, so you could also pick up herbalism or mining just in case you run a dungeon that has either herbs or nodes in them. For example, if you're running TBC dungeons, you can get mana tombs, which has ore in them, so mining could be useful. Moving on, we have our final kind of leveling topic, which really doesn't have to pertain just to leveling. You can do this at max level as well. And this is basically selling anything that isn't soulbound on the auction house. Whether you're leveling or dungeoning, you're going to get a ton of random crafting reagents or items. For example, you might pick up some linen cloth, some mage weave cloth, you might pick up some tiger's eyes, some random gems. You can pick up different food items like meat from different beasts, and so many different things. So instead of vendoring these off for a few silver or copper, throw them on the auction house. Now maybe this cloth or meat will only sell for 1 gold each, but that beats the 10 silver or 10 copper that you're going to get from vendoring it on the auction house. If one of your goals is to get the expert flying, which costs 4,000 gold, if you could just sell 4,000 random items for 1 gold apiece, you have your expert riding covered. And honestly, a lot of items are going to sell for over 1 gold, so you should be able to hit that 4,000 number in no time. Of course, if you already have writing, send that over to your main character, and you've just gotten some extra gold to spend on whatever you need. Moving on, we're going to get away from the leveling scene and talk about things that you can do once you actually hit level 60, and this gets better the more level 60s you have. Now, I'm going to be covering a few things in this list, and I'm going to start them from the least amount of effort to the most amount of effort. And the first one is picking up enchanting, just like I talked about in leveling. And basically for the same reason. If you currently have a level 60 who is doing current content and you don't really have any professions on that character, pick up enchanting for disenchanting. So if you're completing world quest and getting random pieces of gear, you know you are doing mythic dungeons and getting new gear, you know you're running raids, whatever is happening, instead of just getting rid, destroying, or vendoring those BOP items, you can turn them into sacred shards or eternal crystals or some soul dust to sell them on the auction house. Most of the time, it's going to be worth your while to disenchant them for these materials than simply just vendoring them for some raw gold. Moving on, we probably have the most popular raw gold method that you have probably heard about, and this is callings. If you guys don't know, at level 60, once you join your covenant, you're going to get these daily quests, which is going to require you to do certain things in a specific zone, and once you complete that objective, you're going to gain a chest. This chest can grant a lot of things, but it's going to give you a few junk items. Simply, you just sell these junk gray items to the vendor, and you're going to get about 1,500 to 2,000 raw gold once you do so. So a calling is going to grant you about 2,000 raw gold every single one you do. Now, by default, these callings should take you about 15 minutes to 10 minutes each, and the big reason on why it takes forever is due to the travel time. For example, 3 callings, if you have one in Bastion, if you have one in Ardenweald, and you have one in Ravendreth, that is a lot of flight pathing that you have to do in order to complete all 3. So I'm going to give you a suggestion. Let's say you do not want to do all of your callings every single day because that just takes a long time. If you check back on your callings daily, you will find that sometimes callings line up with each other. In the gold making scene, we like to call these calling stacks, and it's basically whenever 2 or 3 callings line up in the same exact zone. For example, today is Tuesday or NA reset, and actually, there is currently a 3 stack in Ravendreth. The 3 callings you have to do is do 3 world quests in Ravendreth, pick up 3 treasures or kill 3 rares, and then you have to fill the bar to 100%. Best thing is that these 2 callings, picking up treasures and doing the world quest, is going to fill up that bar, and you can all do that in Ravendreth. So you should probably be able to do all 3 of these callings within maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and that's going to grant you 6k raw gold. Now, let's say you have 2 level 60s, then that means you can make 12k raw gold in one day, maybe in about 40 minutes, or even 30 minutes depending on your speed. And then of course, that just keeps compounding depending on how many level 60s you have. Now, if you're somebody who does not keep track of callings and you're lazy and don't want to do it yourself, I highly recommend following Drizzling Rose on Twitter. Every single day there is a stack day. She lets you know, tells you exactly what region it applies to, and tells you what you have to do. So if you're somebody interested in doing this, I highly recommend following her on Twitter. Now, I completely understand if this is too much effort for you, because I am somebody who does not do a ton of callings myself. However, if you're somebody who is currently farming reputation, you're trying to get certain collectibles from callings, this is just an extra bonus by getting that raw gold. Also keep in mind, once you get a Paragon chest for reputation, that's going to grant an extra few 1,000 gold. Moving on, we have 2 more methods I want to talk about. Now these are going to require add-ons, so these are going to be the more effort methods. The first one is going to be running disenchant and vendor scans. Now, the actual method itself is very, very easy. All you need to do is have Trade Skill Master installed, but the issue is that you also have to download a desktop add-on, which could be something that not a lot of people want to do. But if you install this add-on, open up the auction house, you can simply click Disenchant Scan or Vendor Scan. And what this is literally going to do is show you what you can buy that you can either sell to a vendor for more gold, or that you can disenchant and sell those materials for more gold. So literally does the work for you. All you have to do is buy the item and either disenchant or vendor it. So the task itself may take 2 minutes of your time, but you do have to go through that initial setup process. And this comes to my last process I want to talk about, and this is mission tables. Now, I have left this to the very last one, as this could be the most time-consuming or confusing process. Now, you do need an add-on to do this, and it is called TLDR missions. I highly recommend only doing this method if you get this add-on. I will make sure I am playing a recording of my current settings on screen, so you can go ahead and copy them, but what you will have to do is you basically go onto your level 60 character, go to your mission table, and then click Complete Missions, and then Run Missions. Every single day, it should take you maybe 5 minutes of your time, including logging in and logging out. Now, the rewards that you get from mission tables are going to be your setup dependent. If you already have level 60s with the mission table, you're not going to be able to optimize your stuff, so just download the add-on, set up your settings, and hit Run. If you're somebody with a brand new level 60, I will leave a tutorial in the description below that I highly recommend you follow to make sure you get the most optimized setup, which should take you about 10 minutes. Once you have that, you are good to go. Just press Run, and then of course complete whenever the mission's complete, and you're good to go. And yeah, on average, you can make about 3 to 5k raw gold per day per toon. If you run missions twice a day, missions normally take about 4 hours to complete, so if you just check once in the morning, once at night, you are good to go. And so yeah, those are my few tips that I have if you're somebody looking for an extra little bit of gold without a ton of effort as a non-gold maker. Now, depending on what you do, this is not going to get you super rich overnight, but the more effort you put into these methods, the more times you do these methods, the more gold you're going to make. To those wondering about making enough gold for a token a month, it's going to depend on your region. If you are somebody who plays on the NA region, with current token prices, you need to make about 7k a day to afford a token. And honestly, that is not a ton of gold. If you are somebody who plays on the EU region, since you have more expensive tokens, you need to make about 11k per day. If you are somebody just farming for some potions or an extra mount, you don't really need to worry about how much you're making daily. But hopefully this can inspire you, give you some suggestions, and of course, if you have any more questions, feel free to let me know. But everybody, thank you so much for watching, and of course, have a good day.